What is up, Coach Emma here, and welcome back to the Fit Habit Life podcast, where we cut through the noise, talk real health and fitness, sustainable fat loss, and habits that actually work. And today on the podcast, I will be talking about how to drink responsibly during the holidays. Because, let's face it, that's where most of people's fat gain comes from during the holidays. It's the amount of excessive drinking that people do. And so I want to give you guys actionable strategies for how to, if you do decide to drink alcohol, how to navigate that, how to make better decisions, and how to not sabotage your results long term. So, yeah, this should be an interesting one. So, anyway, thank you guys for listening. If you've enjoyed the podcast and you're an avid listener, if you could share the show or rate the show or subscribe, that just helps me get in front of more people, which helps me help more people, which is the goal of this show. So anyway, let's dig in. Alcohol. Is alcohol bad for you? Yes. Yes, alcohol is a class 1 carcinogen. Means it directly contributes to cancer. Does that mean I don't have it? No. If you've listened to the podcast before, I enjoy beer. I like fancy beers. I like Belgian ales, triples, hazy IPAs. Yeah, I like craft beer. So I'm not coming from a place of, I'm judging you if you drink alcohol. No, I drink alcohol sometimes too. But it's not good for you, unfortunately. And there are fun charts that show you how everything alcohol touches as it goes down your digestive system is impacted and can contribute to those cancers. Basically every part of your body. So fun times. So alcohol, it's not good for you, but most people know that, and doesn't mean you shouldn't ever enjoy it. Like if you were eating cake all the time, that could contribute to obesity, which could contribute to cancer, which could contribute to poor health outcomes. So really it's the intentionality behind it. It's the control. So if you're using alcohol to cope with stress, if you're using alcohol to escape, that's not going to be healthy either. So it's how are you using the alcohol, and is it something that has a hold on you? If you're someone who you use it to cope with things, it helps you escape from things, then that's pretty unhealthy. And then I'd say probably should not consume alcohol. Some people have an inability to control themselves around it. And so one drink ends up being a 6-pack, or some people I even know do a dozen. I'm like, I would literally be dead. I have a very low alcohol tolerance. But that, like, if that's you, then you probably shouldn't have alcohol, and that's okay. Alcohol is not good for you. If that's not you and you just enjoy it, and you enjoy having it on occasion, then this is more for you. If you struggle with alcoholism or unhealthy relationship with alcohol, this episode is not for you. You should really just not drink alcohol. And all of us have something that is a struggle, and that is something that we should avoid. And yeah. So anyway, that being said, if you don't struggle with alcoholism, you can enjoy alcohol responsibly. And so I'm going to go through a couple tips and tricks. 1, to help you not feel like crap the next day. And then 2, to just help manage the damage alcohol could do on your body composition. So as I touched on, alcohol is really bad for you. It's a class 1 carcinogen. I actually didn't even address the gut health implications of alcohol, which I tend to do. That's usually where my mind goes first. But alcohol kills all the bacteria in your gut, the good and the bad. And so people who drink alcohol pretty consistently tend to have really poor gut health. Because when you kill the good bacteria and the bad, it gives more room for the bad to overgrow. And it can wreak havoc on your intestines, your gut lining, all sorts of fun stuff. So alcohol is really poor for gut health. It's not good for brain health. I'm going to stop talking about the negative benefits. Well, it's also really poor for body composition because alcohol is not very filling. And alcohol in general is 7 calories per gram. So, which means like a carb is 4 calories per gram. So basically, alcohol, very calorie dense. Fats are 9 calories per gram. Protein's about 3.14 calories per gram because it's 4 calories per gram, but it's a lot of effort for our bodies to digest it. So that's why it kind of gets shifted down. So anyway, so alcohol, very calorie dense, which is why it's not great for body composition. And in general, alcohol also, it's a lot harder for our bodies to process. So if you're eating and drinking, oftentimes your body will store the other foods directly into body fat or other things as it's trying to break down the alcohol. Yeah, and it's not filling unless you drink beer. Beer is very filling. So like if you're taking shots or doing a lot of cocktails, then yeah, you're going to be consuming way more calories and you won't even realize that you are. And so I've had some coaching friends who had clients that were drinking consistently, and their client just stopped drinking and in a couple weeks dropped 15 pounds. Part of it was inflammation, but if you're drinking 4 to 6 beers every day, that's anywhere from, depending on how light the beer is, probably 600 to 1,500 calories a day of alcohol. So if you cut that out, you'll be in a huge deficit. Yeah, if you're maintaining your weight at that weight. Otherwise, you're probably just stop being in a surplus and a reasonable deficit. But alcohol also causes systemic inflammation. Just in general, it's a toxin to our bodies. Man, I'm really, I guess, selling you guys on why you shouldn't have alcohol. But that's not the point of this episode. I like to educate people on that. Sometimes too, when you learn these things about alcohol, then when you're looking at going out and getting drinks or other things, you might be like, honestly, like tonight, it's just not worth it. So the other night I shared half a beer with my husband and it was totally worth it. But my sleep was really trash the next day and my energy was super low because of the poor sleep. So that's another thing. Alcohol really reduces your sleep quality. Drastically reduces your heart rate variability. So those two things, but also, just in general, it reduces your body's stress resiliency because alcohol is a stress on the system. So your body expends a lot of energy towards that stressor. It's inflammatory. And if you're having a lot of cocktails and stuff, there's a lot of sugars in that. So usually people not only have a hangover, but they have nasty headaches because of the sweet cocktails that they're consuming. So all in all, consuming alcohol regularly, not smart if you have health, longevity, body composition goals. But it can be used on occasion. It can be a great way to bond with people. Like, during the holidays, having a beer with some friends you haven't seen in a while, or sharing some wine with your family as you guys are gathering around the table, having roast beef or whatever you guys have on Christmas. Like, that's a fun thing to do. But the reason I'm talking about alcohol is it is December now, and most people have some type of gathering every weekend. And if that's you, that's literally everybody. So it's super common. And a lot of them revolve around some type of drinking, some type of alcohol. So that's why I wanted to talk about this, just because you can enjoy it if you want to. But here are the downsides. And here's how you can enjoy it more responsibly. Oh, but back to the downsides. If you think about the effects that it has on like all the processes in the body, on poor sleep, poor heart rate variability, it's going to be really hard to train the next day. It's going to be really hard to be active the next day. Your decisions, you're probably more fatigued and tired and lazy, so you're probably more prone to order out than to make food at home. So really, it's like the behaviors associated around those nights of heavy drinking and stuff, those tend to be the things that contribute oftentimes to that unfavorable body composition and to habits that detract from your goals. So, yeah. So basically, it's like the behaviors revolving around the drinking tend to what cause most of the negative benefits. Besides the alcohol itself is a carcinogen and a toxin. Oh man. So anyway, I'm trying to think. There was something else I was thinking about. My brain's going all over the place today, guys. I did not have alcohol last night. But yeah. Okay, hopefully I've you understand why alcohol is not healthy and does not contribute to a positive body composition. But again, you shouldn't never have something because of that. Like I said, eating cake all the time, that's not healthy, but it's your birthday, you want a piece of cake, have some cake. That's fine. So first I'm going to talk about just like pre-planning. Things that you can do to just help you make better decisions around alcohol. That was the other thing. When you have alcohol, your inhibitions are lowered. How many times have you gone to fast food and eaten a whole plate of curly fries? I have multiple times. In college, it's called the Bronco. It was like a fast food thing. They had like plates of curly fries. I've eaten multiple full plates of curly fries. So not only is the alcohol very calorie dense, but your inhibitions are lowered and you probably have like the drunchies, drunk munchies, and you probably order something that's not really going to serve you body composition wise or health wise anyway. And you eat way more than you would have because your inhibitions are lowered. Anyway, but you can prepare for the alcohol. You can plan ahead. You can make better decisions by setting these kind of your own rules and guidelines around things. And this can be used for anything. So even if you don't drink alcohol, if you're like, you really like cake, pie, whatever, and you're like, hey, look, I got Thanksgiving coming up, or maybe it's past Thanksgiving now. You've got Christmas coming up and there's going to be a plate or a table of treats and sweets and other things. And you're like, I want to have some. If you set a number for yourself, like I'll allow myself to have 2 or 3 of those cookies. You might have 4, but you probably won't have 5. Same thing goes with alcohol. So if you're like, I will allow myself to have 2 drinks tonight, or 2 drinks at whatever gathering you're pre-planning for, you'll probably have 2. You might have 3, but you probably won't have 4. And so that's what I've noticed with a lot of clients. Just setting a limit on something helps you make better decisions. Whereas if you just didn't set a limit, you might have 5 or 6 desserts or beers, right? So set some type of barrier or rule for yourself. And even if you don't follow through on that, at least you'll be in a better spot than had you not set the rule in the first place. Then even now, like looking at your calendar for the month of December and January, the first couple weeks of January, how many parties do you have? How many nights out do you have? Pick 1 a week where you're allowing yourself to drink. If you're a regular drinker, maybe it's 2 a week. I don't drink very regularly. I drink very rarely. I think there was like almost a 10-month, 8 or 10-month period where I didn't have a single alcoholic beverage. I didn't even realize. I just don't drink. Our friends don't really drink. I do like beer though. I was also going through a gut health protocol, so I couldn't have alcohol. As I said, really bad for gut health. So anyway, so for me, like drinking once a week is like a lot. But realistically, I have there's probably like 2 days, maybe 3 in December that I'll have an alcoholic beverage. We're going to California. I work part-time for another coaching company, and so we have a holiday party. Probably going to have a couple alcoholic beverages at it because it's really fancy, fun party. And then maybe Christmas, have a nice beer. Who knows? So that's kind of what I'm thinking and planning ahead for. But anyway, look at your calendar. Look at how many gatherings, events that you have, and pick one a week or however often that is for you. That is like comfortable, but set like days for that. Because again, if you're drinking every day, you're probably going to gain a lot of weight or just feel really crappy, which is going to lead you to make poor decisions, maybe lead you to be less consistent because you're tired all the time, sleep deprived, poor quality sleep, probably not training as consistently, maybe struggling to get your steps in. So setting those like specific days is just going to help with that. And then you can pre-plan. So let's say you pick those 4 days, you say 2 drinks a day. Okay, so pre-plan what cocktails you're going to have or what beverages you're going to have. And if you track your calories, you can actually allocate calories towards those alcoholic beverages. That way, you might be inflamed the next day, you might feel crappy, but you're not going to put on a bunch of weight. You'll just put on some inflammation. So it's another way to do it. If you don't track, what I recommend doing is the days that you are having cocktails and drinks, just going a bit lower carbohydrate on those days. Maybe doing more protein and fiber-centric, fiber-forward meals, front-loading your day with protein and fiber. So like lean cuts of meat, like tri-tip, sirloin, chicken breasts, chicken thighs, ham. And pre-planning your day so that you have those extra calories allocated for those alcoholic beverages that you're going to budget for, essentially. And then maybe on those days that you do go out drinking, you do your hard workout that day too, so that next day, it can be your rest day. And so you can be lazy and you won't miss your workout. That's another tip too, is like doing the workout on the day that you're going to go drinking. One, you'll be probably expending a little bit more calories just by trying to get strong, build some muscle. But two, then that next day, you won't have to go to the gym when you feel really crappy. I do know some coaches and some of my coach friends, what they'll do is they'll put a really hard workout the day after drinking so that they don't overdo it. So that's another strategy you can implement. If you're like, well, if I do it that day, then I probably will overdo it tonight on the drinking, then maybe you put your workout for the next day. Maybe leg day is the day after you drink. That would give you some barriers, right? And then just in general, if you are drinking, alternating beverages between alcoholic and non-alcoholic tends to help slow it down a little bit. And personally, what I'll do when I'm not drinking, but I'm at a party where people are drinking, I'll probably have a club soda with lime, because some people, especially if they're intoxicated, tend to be a little bit pushy and might want you to drink even if you don't want to. And it can be really annoying to tell them, I'm good, no thank you, like 1,000 times. So I'll do a club soda with lime or have some type of beverage in my hand. And people will tend to either stop asking you or they might actually think that you're also drinking. So even if you're sober, if you're like, I don't want to drink at all, club soda with lime, hold it, sip on it a little bit. People won't bother you and you'll get to see them do ridiculous things. So another tip there. Just in general, I've noticed personally, if I do it earlier in the day, like I'm not drinking late into the evening, if I'm drinking like at 5, like a happy hour sort of thing, or earlier on in the evening, and then after I drink, I'll have like a little protein thing or a little, food in my stomach, it tends to help as well. that next day. I don't feel as hungover. I don't feel as crappy. So usually when we drink, it's not super late at night. It's like before dinner. I am like an old lady though, and I don't like to go out at all, really. I go to bed at 9. So, yeah, I don't really stay up late and stuff. So for some of you, that might be a little bit different, but, yeah, and alternating with just in general, a hydrating beverage that's not alcohol is going to help you feel less hungover that next day anyway. And then there's like 2 products that I use that have drastically helped the hangover. One is Z-Biotics. And like, I'm not sponsored. This podcast is not sponsored by any supplement companies, but I do have an affiliate code for them. And so if you go to Z-Biotics and you use Fit Habit Emma, you will get a discount on those. And they're these little tiny, I guess they were genetically engineered enzymes that break down the acetaldehyde in alcohol, which is what makes you feel really crappy after a night of drinking. And so that helps. And then I will also take after my drinking. So you take that before, the Z-Biotic before. After the drinking, I'd use activated charcoal. But usually, so I don't have hangovers from the alcohol itself. It's usually my quality of sleep that is really poor. And so that's why I tend to feel crappy that next day. It's not the alcohol. It's because I do those things. I do the Z-Biotic and the activated charcoal. It's just my sleep quality is so poor. I have not found a way to help with that. I've heard there's these like mattress pads you can put on your bed that will regulate the temperature based on your body temperature, to help you get better quality sleep. And that's something that my husband and I want to invest in because he's really warm and I'm really cold usually at night. When I drink, I'm really warm. And so oftentimes I wake up in the middle of the night, tossing and turning. So if you have extra finances, investing in one of those, I think it's called like a 8 Sleep is what I've heard is pretty solid. That's on our wish list, so to speak. But something like that might help. But yes, everybody's sleep will be a little different. So that tends to be the downside. And for that, I have not found a fix. In general, really poor night of sleep, supplementing with higher doses of creatine tends to help my cognitive function anecdotally. And there are studies that show that. So doing a higher dose of creatine, like 15 grams, can help with that sleep-deprived day. But I will also caution that some people, higher doses of creatine can cause digestive dysfunction. So splitting it up is more advisable. But anyway, that's all I got for alcohol. But all in all, alcohol is not good for you. But because it's not good for you doesn't mean you shouldn't enjoy it on occasion. Specifying the on occasion thing. But hopefully these tips and tricks will help you drink more responsibly, help you make better decisions so that in the end, you'll be working towards your goal and you won't be behind. Because oftentimes if you don't set any bounds, you don't try to prepare. This is another saying I did not make it up, but failing to prepare is preparing to fail. So if you tend to have the tendency to overindulge on alcohol, setting some boundaries and barriers should help you. Listening to this and putting it into perspective, like how can I apply this to your life and actually start to take action. So after you listen to this episode, this comes out on a Thursday. It's the first week of December, I'm pretty sure. After you listen to this, look at your calendar. Map out the days that you will be drinking. The other days, don't. Oh, another tip. If you don't want to drink, but you think you might be tempted to drink, be the DD. Drive to the event, and that way, you can't. Or if you can, it's only a little bit. I can't have any alcohol or I feel it because I don't drink very often. So if you're like me, drive to the event and you will not drink. So final hack. But anyway, set aside time, plan it out, set boundaries for yourself, and you'll probably end up in a better spot this January than you were last January. So anyway, thank you for listening. Hopefully this was helpful. But take action on this. Take action on this. And if it was helpful and you do take action, please share the show, subscribe, rate Fit Habit Life on wherever you're listening, because that helps me help more people. So anyway, I hope y'all have a great rest of your day, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.